Will you say a prayer with me to open the meeting? Lord, we've gathered here today to do the business of the members of this community. Help us to do our members' business with wisdom, with respect, and always with the best interest of the whole community at the forefront. Clear in our communication, to be transparent in our dealings, and to be accountable to our community to do what is best for them. As always, we ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Craven County, the long-time Craven County Commissioner Tom Mark. Commissioner Mark has served as the citizens of Craven County since 2010. Commissioner Mark represented District 1, encompassing much of the northern portions of Craven County, including Fairfield Harbor, Bridgeton, and Vanceboro. At this time, we have a moment of silence for Commissioner Thomas Mark. At this time, would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've distributed the draft minutes for review for the.
Can I make a motion to accept the agenda?
Oh,
Second.
yes. I'm sorry.
And if you need a vote,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
that's all right. Moving on.
Jumped ahead. We've distributed the minutes. Are there any objections to the minutes? Hearing no objections, I make the motion to approve the regular board minutes, August 27th, as corrected.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Objections? None? I move to approve the board minutes, the session meeting, work session minutes of September 10th as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the board called meeting minutes of September 10th as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all motions passed.
You're up.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to remind everybody that on November 1st, we're having the Talented Towers. If you would like to sign up, please see Amanda over at the club, the Harbor Point Club, Golf Club, and she'll get you signed up for that. I'd like to make a legal update to the POA members. We'd like to provide you with an update regarding our ongoing legal matter involving the association. Board of directors and the plaintiffs have engaged in a series of negotiations in an effort to resolve the dispute After careful consideration and deliberation, the board unanimously agreed to extend a settlement offer to the plaintiffs in good faith, with the goal of reaching an amicable amicable resolution. Despite several back and forth offers, plaintiffs and the board have not yet been able to reach a mutual satisfactory resolution to the date. At this time, both parties have agreed to proceed to mediation, which is scheduled for October 22nd, 2025. Mediation is a confidential and non-binding process that provides the opportunity to potentially resolve the matter outside of the court. Judge Brown has decided to withhold any ruling on the plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunction until action. In an effort to expedite ultimate resolution of the case, should mediation not be successful, the board has asked the Insurance Defense Council to file a motion for summary judgment that would tee up the judge to make a final decision in this case. The regularly scheduled board meeting of October 22nd will be closed to the public because of the ongoing legal process. We will continue to keep the community informed of any significant developments while respecting the confidential requirements of the legal process. Thank you for your understanding and continued support.
Yeah.
Moving on, we'll go to the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Don. Can you hear me okay? This is our treasurer's report for the month of September. Looking back at months previous to August. Got one.
Is he close enough to pick up? He's good.
I'm good. The board had previously approved a request to Troon. This is old business to spend the cost of a full audit for last year. They've declined that request. We'll go ahead and proceed to do an audit for last year because there were just a lot of transactions, unusual transactions done with the payoff of the 385 and the new loan. And we've already had one hiccup there from a misposting, so we're going to make sure it's audited and clean. I've solicited an engagement letter from Ernie and Company, and those are our longtime auditors for a full audit. That'll be at our expense. Like I said, we did many changes during that time period. I'll review that with the board in a work session. Then I'll present it to the membership at a public meeting. We also have a letter of engagement for a cash audit as well, which is a bylaws requirement, but we're changing treasurers. I'm going to discuss that with the board and with our auditor some more. It appears as though perhaps we can combine those two and save a little money. Last month, I had just received the final revised year-end statements from Troon for last year. That's the year ended February of 2025. And I committed I'd review those with you today, and I intend to do that. I've previously discussed that Troon is rather badly overdue in financial reporting. And obviously that's hampering our ability to get a grip on where we are and move forward. We are at this point without reports for June, July, August. August was they were all due per contract by the 20th of the month following. With legal help, we drafted a notice of default to Troon and sent it off to them on the 22nd when it was clear that they were not going to make their 20th deadline. We received a phone call back from Troon that evening. And yesterday, Jennifer and Don and I sat down with them and heard a plan. I'm not going to go through all the details that should get us back on track. And they have committed as part of that plan that by the end of this week, we will have August and June and July. And by the way, I can't present August to you yet because I don't have it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But Troon has 10 days from the 22nd to resolve the situation. That would be, by my math, the 32nd of September. So
32nd.
you see what you got? You see what you got? Yeah. So we'll be monitoring that, and that commitment to me is that we need to receive August finally, and then move on in a timely fashion for future months. Back in July in our board meeting, I challenged our accounts collections team to work hard on collecting past dues invoices. And I mentioned to them that the really old stuff, some of which we've written off, some of which we've pushed off into reserve for bad debt. And those two items, by the way, total over $300,000. That's still collectible. It's still due and owing. And you're not going to collect it in a week or two, but you can't let up on it. And congratulations this month, Jennifer, who is wearing her t-shirt that says never, ever, 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 ever give up, collected $49,000 in one really old transaction. Congrats. Good job. I'm going to request that the board remove the interim that has been attached to my title. And somebody else needs to make that motion, I think.
So moved.
It's not, we're under reports, not business.
We'll do it later on.
Okay. All right. So I've requested it, and we'll deal with it later. All right. Talk about Finance Committee. Back in July, I presented a draft charter for the Finance Committee and a proposed roster. And the board in that meeting approved the roster and asked me to take the charter back and put it in a standard format. Well, that standard format's been a bit of a struggle, and after I got into it, it doesn't really represent what we need as a community. What that charter does is it sets up a committee that does things. Let's just use the events committee as an example. They set up things, they conduct things, and they report back to the board once in a while. Okay, that's not what we need. We need financial staff work done under my supervision, coming back through me to the board. Thought about that for a long time, read the bylaws a little bit. And the bylaws say, and I'll quote, "The officers of the association shall be elected by the board and shall be the president, one or more vice presidents, the secretary, the treasurer, and other officers and assistant officers as the from time to time elect. Officers will serve at the will of the board and may be removed and replaced by the board at any time with or without cause. There are no qualifications listed for assistant officers. So I'm going to assume that the board, having ratified the slate before, will continue to move ahead. And with that thought in mind, I'm going to move that the following people be designated by the board as assistant treasurers. And that would be Dave Farmeyer, Jim Roberts, Andy Seidel, Paul Hill, and Maury Thompson.
Can I move now?
Please.
Move, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We'll work that out. Okay. Board, with your packet, you have a brief bio for Larna Ely Griffin, who has also applied to be a part of this group. She's a member of the community. She graduated from a school called ECU in 2020, specializing in business and certified North Carolina CPA since 1985. Her license is still current. Extensive experience in financial management and accounting. Worked in public accounting for 13 plus years in nonprofit, governmental, accounting and tax, including auditing of at least one POA. She's worked with the state of North Carolina with their pension fund, and the rest of it is in the bio that I sent out to you. It's a very well qualified lady. I've met with her on the phone. I think she's got her head screwed on straight, and I would really like to have her as part of our, I'm going to call them financial team. Could I have a motion to accept her as an assistant treasurer?
So moved.
All in favor?
Do we have a second?
Yeah, Mike.
Well, I thought Mike made the motion.
I made the motion, you said.
I need a second.
Y'all fix that. Let's move on.
No, we need a second announced.
All right, I'll second.
We need a vote.
Okay, all in favor?
All right. Okay, I'm going to swap up my reporting a little bit. I want to thank one of our members who took the time to sit down at her kitchen table with me for about half an hour and explain to me that the folks out there in video land can't see any of what we've put on the screen in the past. So I'm going to interpret that to mean that folks in here can't see it well either. So I guess the normal term would be Justin and I have collaborated. In this case, we've conspired to try to get a little bit better visibility, both for you folks and for the folks who are watching us on video. This is the highlights reel from the year-end statement, which was put together by Troon, sent to us, corrected, and will be posted on Front Steps and included in the meeting, but it'll be posted on Front Steps in the next few days. I'm going to skim through this quickly. I'm going to ask the board to approve its being posted. It has been prepared by an accountant. It has not been reviewed by a CPA. And it will be included as part of the audit we'll be requesting. So at the end of the year, cash and cash equivalents in the operating account, and this is all kinds of operating accounts, but we had 102,000. For reserve, we had 670, 157. Again, this is reserves pretty much of all kinds. Non-dues, cash, and I'm learning how important it is to keep that separate. 57,861, and our contingency fund was 91,498. Net fixed assets, 5,458. Total assets, 6,842. Liabilities, thankfully, much smaller than current liabilities is 791. Long-term is 2,000,005. Total liabilities, 3,000,002. And that leaves a stockholders' equity of 3,000,005. Consolidated expense statement and income statement for the POA. This is everything. You sweep the floor, here's what you get. Total revenues, 5,453,000 last year. And by the way, for those of you feverishly taking notes, have at it, have fun, but this is going to be on Front Steps in a lot more detail in just a couple of days, maybe sooner than that. Total revenues was 5,004,000. Total expenses was 3,167,000. EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. In other words, gross profit, 1,009,000. Total interest expense, $1,009,100, leaves us a net income of $164,939. The cash flow statement, cash and equivalents at the start. And I did take the liberty to turn this upside down a little bit from the way Troon likes to present it, but I like to take start, in, and out. So we had cash at the start, $1,094,000. Cash from operations, $318,498. That's total generation from operations and flowed to cash. Cash from investing, $1,796,000. That's outflow. Cash from financing, $1,003,000. Net increase in cash. Cash went down, $172,458. Total cash. You all know I try to watch cash. I'm somewhat happy that we ended the year with that good a situation. People keep asking me, are we making money at the golf course? Here's what Troon has reported. Total revenues for last year were $790,745. Cost of goods sold in the pro shop was $53,002. Gross income $37,743. Total expenses was $059. Leaves you an EBITDA of a loss of $321,956. All right, so this is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. What's in that ITA? Your leases for your golf carts and a few other miscellaneous items. That's $134,000. So last year it cost us $456,000 as a community, of course. Restaurant ops, income expenses, total revenues is up $483,000. We're probably doing close to that in a quarter right now with Amanda on board. Total cost of goods sold is $241. Labor and burden is $278, $481. Other is $119. Add that all up, you get an EBITDA of $156,285. Troon didn't charge any interest or taxes to the operation. So your net income is $156,285. If you have questions, I may be able to handle them. I have not got into the whys and wherefores on last year because I've been trying to work on this year and go forward from here. But I'm not going to take questions right now, Al. If you do have a question, please email me. I'll try to answer it to the community as best I can. And I hope this is an instructive format for everybody to be able to use. I'll ask the board for a motion to approve last year's finances.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
That's it.
All in favor?
Second. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Okay. Managers report.
Okay. Want to use the microphone? Okay. Oh, thanks.
It's good.
Okay. So dues income, we are at $3,566,564.42, which is 92%. We still have 5 months to go to collect the last 8%. Non-dues, right now we're at $301,038.78. And remembering that marinas are not included in that number. For consideration for the board, I'd like the board to help me to gain a volunteer in the office. Mindy Fitzgerald of 6105 Feluca Court. She has been here for 6 years almost. Property owner. She is a real estate broker. She's a committee, and she's interested in serving the committee by giving back to the community. She has special talents, abilities, experience, office work, experience with office software pertaining to the neighborhood, including homeowner, the security cameras. Yeah, get help with that.
You're going to use her as a general office help, is that what you said?
Yep, when she can, yep. Probably,
Motion to have Mindy Fitzgerald as an office helper.
Second.
All
thank
in
you.
favor?
I'd like to recommend that it might be appropriate, since Lord knows what's going to go across her desk, that she sign the same confidentiality agreement.
Yes.
You got it. Okay. There was an email, usually I'll tell you guys about letters and emails from residents that would like to speak to the board, and there was an email last night that I shared with John. I don't know if we want to read it or if we want to talk about it in your.
I haven't.
Okay.
I saw it come through, but I hadn't had time to read it.
It's a resident that writes on occasion mostly about the speeding on Caracara. He lives on Caracara. He's offered to have the speed camera put in front of his house. He doesn't mind if it looks ugly because he's so concerned with that. He's concerned with several things. I'll just read it to you when we have a chance to executive session. With the CERT group, which is the Community Emergency Response Team, we had a little glitch with an email, and we've received over 50 volunteers. So the Safety and Access Control Committee is going to be working on getting those volunteers together to form a CERT, reinvigorate CERT, which is great. We are still working on the pump replacement at the golf course. We are in week 7 of the farmers market, which is this evening. We have moved it for safety reasons, we've moved it to this parking lot in the back. The only issues we're having are cars that are getting too close to vendors. So be careful if you're driving in, try to use this exit or entrance over here by the building. But that is from 3 to 6. The hours have changed so that it accommodates for the sun going down earlier. And we have another new vendor that's starting tonight. Oh, that's going well. September 30th, there are free flu shots in room 3 from 9 a.m. to noon. It's courtesy of Harris Teeter, and Ellen Lacey is the one that helped to get that going. I haven't heard back whether or not we need to have their health card or their ID. They have to have ID. It needs to be members of the community only. So please don't invite any outsiders to that.
We'll publish that in the update, whether you need to bring an insurance card or not. They're free shots.
They're free. We don't know if they're billing back to your insurance if you have insurance, but which we're trying to reach out for that. We don't know yet. In August, the LED lights were completed in the fire station, and I forgot to tell you that last month. So I wanted to make sure that was in the minutes, Gloria, that that was completed in August.
Further on that point, the chief is happy.
The chief is happy. That makes me happy. Good. Everybody's happy over there. It's good. We talked last month about potentially having an editor for the Beacon to take up the Beacon again, and that meeting happened. I didn't hear right away that this gentleman was that he would take on the Beacon, but he did come back and say that he would. So I have sent him the platform that we use is called Wix, and he's working his way around Wix, and he and his wife, she will be the co-editor and he will be the editor. It is Bob and Christine Revik. So I'm excited about that. They're not ready to get it going, but they're gearing up for that, which is great. Harbor Point Golf Club, as Lee mentioned, we are late with financials, but everything is trending up. Lee has been sent the drafts of June and July, and we're getting the August today. And the finalization, like he said, will also be this week for all of them. But all of the reporting looks very, very hopeful and very good. We have 8 more events at the golf course coming up. We had prime rib last Saturday. I think you guys know that Amanda's doing prime rib every 2 weeks. It's like on a rotation. So when she has leftovers, there's a shaved prime rib sandwich that's offered, which is always very good. The Tunnels to Towers tournament is in the foremost, we're working really hard with that. We're getting a lot of excitement and sponsorships. Elected officials have been invited, and we're excited for that. That's on November 1st. There'll be an opportunity for, if you're not golfing, there'll be bands in the back where we have the driving range. There will be food that's available. You can pay $35 and just enjoy the general splendor of the day. Let's see what else. Reserve study. We've been talking about the reserve study. We are still editing that. We are adding as many stormwater items. The newest draft will be coming this week. And internally, Troon has switched over to a new accounting procedure. So we have a few growing pains with that. We've been learning about Dynamics. It's a Microsoft product. It's company-wide, and we just hadn't gotten on board until now. So we're working our way through that. There is a Troon conference in November, and Amanda and I are going to be going to Arizona. I think I mentioned that to you before. The Property Control Committee changes that were approved at the called meeting will be put on the website this week. The insurance agent that we have is named BJ Finnerty. He has toured the Harbor Club, and he's providing a proposal to the board shortly. Bollards have been added in front of the short range readers. That's where the little RFID cards are, because they've been hit and we're trying to protect them. So you'll see some yellow that are right out in front of those, and that's to stop cars from hitting them. We have already replaced parts. We've made the first payment on the Harbor Club loan this month. We are looking at additional providers to offer electronic voting, and the board will be able to make decisions if they want to change providers. Currently, there's only one email address allowed to vote. So for instance, like if Ginger and Randy got, they just have one email, and one of you might prefer to vote or call me and say, no, I want to vote. And so if we use a different provider that allows more emails to be able to vote for your one lot or two lots or however many lots you have, it leaves it away from me having to worry about that. It lets you guys be in charge of that. So we're going to be getting a quote for that. We are dealing with a lot of fraud attempts on POA accounts. So I just, as a PSA, please everybody look at your banking accounts as much as you possibly can, because fraudsters are, I just can't, it's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Lee already mentioned the engagement letter coming for an audit. Lee is looking at banks who provide association services for banking to maximize earning potential and reducing bank fees and this to streamline efficiencies. And that is all I have. Does anybody have a question?
I just want to make a comment about the fraud thing. So far, I've gotten 2 emails from board members asking me to participate in some kind of a finance thing. It's just a minor thing that they wanted some help with. And when I replied, I realized that it was a fraud. It's either AI or just somebody frauding. But the way I tracked it down was, if you go up in the address, say it's under Don's name, and you click on it, it'll show you the site that it came from. It was obviously not Don. So
I try to get money any way I can.
just want to make you aware of it. It's here, it's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. It's coming from people that you think that you know well, and yeah. So
It's getting more and more sophisticated.
very.
Scary.
Yeah. When in doubt, call the source.
Okay, let's move on. Mike, Harbor Club.
Oh, okay. The Harbor Club, we're taking applications for the Harbor Club Utilization Committee. The charter stated there's going to be 5 members. I have asked that be increased to 7 members. Currently, we have 12 people applying. We're going to leave it open for a little while longer, probably put it in this Friday's notification to the community that it will be closing soon. And tomorrow we will start doing interviews with the people that have already applied. Thank you, Don, for setting that up. And we'll start there.
Did you want a motion to increase the number of people?
I'll move that.
Okay.
You want to make that motion?
Yeah.
He just did.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor,
Uh-huh.
increasing the 7?
Yes, aye.
And then there was one word I want taken out of the charter, which was the word voting members. We just take out the voting. We're just saying there's 7 members.
Okay.
Okay. I would move that we would just remove that one word.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. The other thing is that with the Harbor Club Utilization Committee, we have processes already in place in the community, and the club will expand these processes to adapt to the size of the building and what we're going to be offering. And then there are going to be some things that are going to be new, they're going to have to be created. Part of that is like caterers. We want to get a list of approved caterers, but we need to survey the caterers that have been providing. And we want to survey the locations around our area that are renting to weddings and events. What are they charging? What are they getting for it? Who does the cleanup? What do you do for deposits? Who does the setup and takedown? So we need answers to those questions, and that's what that committee is going to be working on also.
Market survey, what a concept.
Yeah. So that's about all I have there.
Okay. Lee, you were going to talk about stormwater and gondolier.
Yeah. I'm down as reporting for the Stormwater Committee. I would not dare to report everything that group is doing, has done, and is about to do. It's one hard-working bunch. But you all know we've had a gash on the face of our community for almost a year down at the southern tip of Gondolier down there, where CWS got in to fix a main and has been fiddling around with it for a while. And 2 weeks ago, I was down there to visit somebody, and I thought I was driving by to see what was promised to be a finished project, and it wasn't. So I got upset. I asked Ray to take me down there and let me take a look at it and understand it, and I told him very plainly that my righteous indignation is at its absolute best when I'm not fully informed. So he started to explain something to me. I says, hush up, Ray, don't do that. But anyway, this started a long time ago. Jim Schulte's driveway's been torn up. He's been driving across his neighbor's front yard for almost a year now to get his cars in the driveway. It's been a mess. Yes. I just picked up the phone, called Don Denton, the president of CWS. It's what I do when I get cranked up sometimes. He didn't call me back.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. I didn't really expect him to. What I expected him to do was to have somebody call me, and he did. But I sent him a picture of the situation anyway, which got back to the guy that called me. And I said, I want to introduce Jim Schulte's to you. And I took a picture across the road. I said, you know, this is where the road ought to be. And you promised to fix it and you haven't. So Tony called me, Tony Consul, if you know Tony, some of you do. And he's vice president of operations, and Tony says, that's my ditch, I'll get it fixed. I do not wish to take credit for expediting this because I probably jumped in the pond at about the time the ripples were all gone. But in a little bit, if my phone buzzes, it might be Tony telling me the paving was done down there. Thank God. And like I said, your stormwater committee has been pushing on this, supporting it, trying their very best to work through their local contacts for almost a year, and I really appreciate their doing it, but it just wasn't working. So we had to do something a little more. So we did, and it's getting paved. And it probably would have been paved tomorrow if I hadn't pushed on it. So we're happy it's going to get done. That's all I've got on stormwater. I can't tell you about culverts and all that stuff. That's what we've got Ray and his crew for.
You think the letter about the increase in CWS fees, have anything to do with it, their decision to do something finally?
No, I wish I'd known about that letter. I haven't seen it.
Just came out. Just came out.
Came out with your bill, depending on your billing.
Okay.
It was an attachment.
No, I might have had a word or two in the letter, in my voicemail to the president about that, but they are getting it taken care of, and there are a couple other smaller ones, and I hope we get the focus on that real soon. Am I okay to walk on to assistant treasurers at this point?
You already did that?
No, I was told to put it off.
No,
That was putting off him becoming interim
Yeah.
treasurer,
it's,
taking the interim off.
we're taking the interim off you.
Entertain a motion that I no longer be interim treasurer.
I'd like to make a motion that we take we move the faucet from interim treasurer to treasurer.
So moved.
All in
So
favor?
second. All right.
I'm done, so.
All right. Mike, boat parking.
There's been a lot of discussion about boat parking. It was not in the original Harbor Club plan. And I had a meeting with Bill Dressler and Chris Barajas some time ago. Chris wanted to stop and redesign the parking lot, which was impossible to do at that time. But I fully agree with Chris that the parking is inadequate for boats. The cart barn is very cumbersome. And if we're going to use that, we need to make that a drive-through area for boat parking. I'm going to bring some things to the board. There are some other places that we might put some boat parking. The one thing that did come out of the meeting with Chris was that Chris has a handicapped person who's a friend of his that likes to boat, and there's no place to park except the cart barn and then walk all the way back over. So we're going to create a handicapped boat parking spot down there by the ramp. Okay. Beyond that, we're going to have to look at some other places to put trailers to park, possibly between the trees in the new parking lot. There's a quite a bit of width there, but what's going to depend on is finding some money from Lee that we can pay for some of these things. It's going to take some gravel and a little bit of prep work before we can get to it. But I want you to know it's on our radar, and as soon as Wimco handles that back to us, we can start looking at making some changes. Got a buck? All right, we're in business. Okay. So
Somebody pass the plate. Better get that. for you.
Yeah, you actually should.
that's all my notes, so that's the report.
One of the things is on that, the Rosa Street is looking at that too, and coming up with some ideas on how to actual parking over there.
Okay.
So,
One other thing that was brought to my attention was I was asked if we were going to pave the area where the boats come out at the top of the ramp. That's a gravel area there. And what I was informed of was that's like a drip dry area. It's so when the boats come out, the water goes off. If you make that impervious, then you've got a runoff issue going back into the inner harbor. So that's probably going to remain gravel. And it's there purposely so that when the water drips off, it stays, whatever comes off the bottom of the boat stays there, doesn't go back into the water, and has a chance to be absorbed.
Don, is it open to any questions from the?
we're gonna have open questions in just a few minutes. Okay, move on. Lee, you want to talk about changes in past due billings?
We're not ready with that. I'll just ask to move it to next month's agenda.
Okay. On your original agenda, you had talked about the moving of the Fhpoa offices.
I'd like to move that to workshop.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, okay. Right now, we're gonna have a vacancy secretary, and we are looking for secretary position on the board. If you or anybody is interested in that, please come in and talk to us. Gloria is moving on. She's
Moving out.
moving out. She's leaving us. So if you're interested or know anybody who might be a good fit, please contact us, let us know. So, also, we have a request for volunteers for live streaming. Right now, we're using Jason from,
Justin.
oh, Justin, sorry, Justin, from the restaurant over there, and he's got other things to do besides come help us with our board meetings. So if you or anybody you know has a video experience or would like to do that, please let us know. At this time, I'd like to,
Point of order. Page 1, you skipped dog park discussion.
Oh.
Did you want to cover that?
I missed the talk part. Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Before we go to 4.
Yeah. Sorry, I skipped that.
Did you skip a lot?
Dog park. I have talked with a lot of people. The dog park rules we came up with, or I came up with, were based on recommendations from yeah, in case you don't have it, for recommendations from the CAI board in that panel, things like that. One of them was to have no more than a 2-dog limit. After talking with many of the members here on in the harbor here, they've asked that 2-dog limit be removed. I'd like to make a motion to remove the 2-dog limit on the rules.
I'll second with discussion.
Okay? Discussion?
You plan to change that to anything?
No, just remove it.
So if somebody owns 10 dogs, they can bring them all at once?
Yeah, it has not been a problem.
Okay. Just understanding.
Okay. All
Be awful of 10 dogs all on a leash. How are you going to handle that?
It has not been a problem.
Okay.
So, they said that it has not.
Just out of curiosity, have you had multiple conversations with people that have 3 or 4 dogs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you've had those conversations, I'm fine.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'd like to add one more item. If nobody has any objections, I have a application for the board advisory panel that I was given just as the meeting started. I'd like to have Nate Atwater added to the board advisory panel. They had somebody had resigned from the panel. The board has approved, the board advisory panel has approved his position. So Nate Atwater, make a motion to be added.
Second.
All in favor? Congratulations, Nate. All right, at this point, I would like to open us for comments or questions from the audience. Yeah.
I was not able to hear what Lee said. Oh, I was not able to hear what Lee said about the moving of the POA office to the Harbor Club.
I had a proposal relative to that, and I'm going to recommend that the board take that to work session before we bring it back to the board as a whole. I've been an advocate for a long time that we should not be bringing items into the board that aren't ready to act on. And my proposal was not ready to act on.
I have just one more comment. The building seems to be progressing rapidly, the building, and I'm concerned that a decision will be made based on the fact that the space is completed for an office. And then the community, once again, will not have had a say in any of this.
I share that concern. That's part of why I want to take it to work session.
I think you were next.
Well, whatever. I have two comments or questions. One is for Jen or Lee. The $49,000 that came in, where will that be posted as far as bookkeeping? Dues income, non-dues income?
It was not dues. It was non-dues, all of it.
Okay, it will not be posted to the general ledger?
Correct. Well, I
Okay.
mean, it does end up into the operations.
Yes.
But yeah, but non-dues.
Okay. Second one for Mike. This goes to the parking situation at the boat ramp. You and I talked probably a month ago. Can anything be done in that area before the project is completed by the builder? In other words, nothing can be changed unless it is in our possession
When you
completed.
build a building like that, you have to, by state and county, you have to provide a certain number of parking spaces depending on how the size of the building and what you're doing with it. What we have had designed there fits. If we change it to boat parking, we're under the number we need. So we really cannot change those parking places into drive-through boat parkings because they need to be available for the regulations to accommodate parking that you're going to have when the building's full of people for a wedding or whatever.
But to answer your question,
I'll rephrase that.
we cannot do anything with the lot until it is turned back over to us.
Right.
From the
Until we get the CO.
So
Yeah.
there won't be any work done until the land or the project is completed. And then what you were talking about.
When you say work done, you mean creating new parking for boats?
Yes,
Yeah, that'll have to wait till after WIMCO releases it. Because that's not our property right now. We may own it, but it's their property until they release it.
yeah, I think that's what people should be made aware of, that we're hemmed in by other things besides
Yeah.
doing it right now.
Part of what was presented was that they wanted to redesign the runoff. Okay, it took us 5 months to get it approved from the state to begin with. And we're in the middle of construction. If we push that back to do reconstruction, we're going to lose our contractors. Plus, we're going to lose the bids and the money that we have already guaranteed by signing contracts. And if we re-sign a contract, it's going to come back higher. It's not going to come back any less. So we really didn't have it to say, we've got to get this project finished. We see the problem. We agree with you. We'll have some solutions, but not till this project's finished and it's turned back to us. That's all there is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Regarding the parking, is there going to be lighting in the parking lot? You don't know? You don't know?
I don't think so.
I've not been asked that question, but I'm guessing there's lighting in the parking lot. I've not looked up to see if there's poles there or not.
No,
I
there's
don't
not.
know.
I don't think
There's no pole.
Okay.
You should check into that.
Well, maybe I will.
Thank you.
I certainly will. I'll ask Bill what they
mean,
have to have some kind of lighting from the
Exactly.
building to shine into there to get people in and out. But
Thank you very
I'll
much.
come up with an answer for you. Thank you.
It is, when it's tripping and falling. Getting.
Which one are we going first?
Just out of curiosity, would it not make sense in the Friday update for somebody, whether it's you, Don, or Mike, to write up something concerning the parking for boats?
Yeah.
and explain the logic behind it. It's creating a ton of animosity in the community, and there has to be some kind of a solution. Could we temporarily use the parking lot closest to the ramp for boats? I think that that's just a gimme to logically state it to the community and say, temporarily, you can use this part of the parking lot for boats. I don't think the state would mind. I really don't.
It's not so much the state, it's the construction company. Okay, it's their property right now until they return it to us. I don't know if that includes all that lot, but if it's inside that green fence, that's Wimco's territory
I
right now.
understand that, but maybe
Okay.
there can be some conversations had with them
We can
and,
certainly ask.
yeah. And I think it would be a good thing to have maybe a little president's corner or something in the weekly update explaining the animosity or trying to lessen it with some of these issues that are coming out. I mean, this has been banging around now for months, and the community hasn't heard of anything until really right now. I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah, a process question. I want to make sure that I heard correctly that the October board meeting will be relegated to an executive session to discuss legal issues. Did I hear that correctly or did I not?
You did.
So at that point, there will be no real board meeting in October. So what the board is saying is you will take no action or have no ability to take action until the November board meeting. So in executive session, you can't take actions or vote. Is that correct?
No,
What is not correct?
it'll be a regular meeting, but due to the legal, most of it's going to be in the,
I'm not questioning the executive committee
Yeah.
at all. I'm just saying that in executive session, that you can't take action by Robert's rules. So that would mean that you have to wait till your next board meeting in order to do that.
the next board meeting is scheduled earlier because November is, fell on a Thanksgiving, so we moved it 2 weeks earlier.
Okay, so there'll be another meeting, but it'll be in November.
Correct.
So again, I'm just stating that you won't have another opportunity to take action until early November,
Unless it's a call meeting. Yes.
unless it's a called meeting. And the reason I ask that is you are putting off discussing the office situation until a further meeting or a working session. That would mean you would not be able to put that up for a vote if you chose to until early November.
Point of order. We can do a called meeting about any time we want to. There's some requirements, 24 hours notice, a number of board members have to request it. It can be scheduled by the president, I believe. So yeah, we have flexibility. We're not locked into, we can only do this during these meetings and they're that far apart. We can create another meeting. So if we meet and decide in the work session that this is important enough, or we want to do it in advance of that, we can create a meeting right after the work session's done. We come out of executive session, we go into an agenda item for that item, and we can pass it. Okay, so.
I'm very familiar with that, but you would have to call a special meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just allocating a timeline for you because the building is, as stated, going to be completed quite soon, and timelines are going to come together, and those decisions should be
End of October.
made timely.
End of October.
Thank you.
Okay, just to continue with that subject,
Name and address.
I'm sorry, Larry DeGlandon, 5420 Tradewin, DeGlandon, DeGlandon, 5420 Tradewinds Road. Your discussion about called meetings. On the 13th of August, you had a work session. In that work session, conversation with Miss Carmichael. you discussed the fact that you could not pass any resolutions or vote on anything in that work session. That's in the minutes of the work session.
Okay.
And that you were going to call a meeting on the 14th. 24 hours later, it was going to be at 2:30 in the afternoon or something. Was that meeting held, or were there any other meetings held between that and the minutes approved for the 27th of August?
Yes. There was.
Gloria? If I remember, we had planned that meeting for the day after. So when we got done with that discussion, we could do exactly as I explained to Mr. Gregg.
Yes.
So, and it was published and everything was handled according to whatever the rules are.
Very good. When will we see the minutes of that meeting?
Of which meeting?
The meeting on the 14th of August, called a board meeting after the work session on the 13th.
I would have to go back and look because off the top of my head, I'm looking that we had a legal meeting on the 13th. And I'm wondering if the 14th was a follow-up to that legal meeting, which means there would not be minutes for it. But I have to go back and check. But I
Okay,
believe that's.
but if you look at the minutes on the 13th, you were calling a meeting on the 14th
And then
so
probably
that
that
a
is-
vote could be taken.
Yes, but it's probably addressing what was discussed in that legal meeting. So there would not be minutes published because it was a legal meeting.
We can't know what was covered in the,
If it involves.
Board
lawsuit,
meeting.
No, because it's pending litigation. And you were just given a statement this morning as to what the situation with the litigation is.
okay. But we don't know if it was just the legal situation that you were calling the meeting for.
My gut says yes, but I'll go back and look at that and I will get back to you specifically.
Okay, thank you very much.
She's keeping minutes, so she knows what's happening.
Hi, Dina Vodrian. I just have a question for Jennifer. I don't know if I heard you correctly with fraud. Did you mean POA accounts that we have with you, or did you mean our personal bank accounts?
Both, all, everybody. So personally, my elderly aunt just lost $100,000. That's all she had in an account. And it was that the Chase Bank sent a debit card to an address. The person in Ireland that was like the imposter posing as my aunt and spent a lot of fun. Gucci, trains, airplanes, a lot of Dublin fun. And part of that's been retrieved back into her account. But this is what I'm doing when I'm not here is I'm trying to help my aunt get her money back. So I am looking at the accounts, all of the accounts that I have access to. And on a Thursday last week, I saw that there was a $7,000 check that was presented in Atlanta, Georgia to a young lady that had a check that had our numbers on it. So we were able to stop that immediately. But there are rules, there are federal rules that are the same for every bank. So if you find fraud on your account, you only have 60 days to go look, a look back period. Everybody should be looking at their accounts all the time because time is of the essence with this. If you find something that was 2 months ago and you won't get it back.
We looked that up now for the POA account. Sorry, for the POA account, how would I know if there was fraud on that with the?
No, I meant the POA's banking accounts.
Oh, banking
Your
accounts, not
accounts.
us.
No,
Okay.
no. I'm
Money
sorry.
the POA has on deposit at a bank.
Okay.
The POA has many banks and correct. Yeah. So anyway, it takes a lot of eyes to look and make sure that nothing is happening that shouldn't be happening. You're welcome.
And just so you're all aware, and you need to really check anything that you receive. I received a text message supposedly from Don asking me to help with the payment if I could use PayPal or Zelle. Well, we don't do that. We only cut checks through the accounting department. So I knew that was fraud, but it came under Don's name, but with a crazy extension. So you need to watch all of that because it could be your kid sending you something and it really isn't. But it's prevalent right now. It's everywhere.
With the new AI stuff, it's Unbelievable. Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, I've done my best.
And will get worse before it gets better.
Much.
One note on that, you can go into all the credit bureaus and put a stop on anybody opening a new account under your name without your permission. So I have that on all 3 of the credit bureaus, just as a safety.
This
So they
wasn't-
can't walk into a store and open a credit card
Yeah.
on my name or my account.
Your name is, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mary Ann Ramey at 6303 Gondolier.
And that's a great suggestion. In my aunt's case, they just pretended that they were my aunt in Ireland and that they'd lost their debit card, and they sent an express to Ireland with a new debit card that.
It's unbelievable. So my question is, with the new building opening relatively soon, what are the plans for staffing that building in lieu or in sight of the fact that no decision has been made about moving the offices yet? How will it be open? Can I go in there and use the restroom if I'm out walking during the day? Is the building going to be generally open? What are the plans to staff that building, to clean the building, to clean the restrooms? What are the plans surrounding that?
We have talked to Jennifer about hiring, we're going to need a full-time maintenance person that basically would be someone from Will's staff. Because that building's going to need full-time maintenance.
Right.
And we do have plans, we do have the budget for that. So there will be personnel over there.
When we say full-time, it's not, we're gonna have a 40-hour person just being in that building all week. That position, at least in my mind,
Yeah.
will be worked in with expanding whatever person we place under Will, he'll have other duties to take care of. So it's not gonna be just one person in the building 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay, there'll be other duties besides, but part of it will be the cleaning and the maintenance of that building.
Will people be able to access the building like this lady just said? If she's out, can she get into the building? My gut tells me no.
The building should have key cards. Like we use on to get in.
Right.
So you should be able to access it with like your phone with the app or with a little white key card.
But that would be after the CO, correct?
Correct.
Yes,
And we don't know when that is.
end of October.
Okay, great.
Of the digital access, will that increase the cost of having this program, having the digital card, and the ability to maintain privilege for all these different buildings that we now have? Because most likely you'll do it to this building. And so that's 2 more databases that have to be maintained for every property owner that has a digital card.
It's one database, and it's already been included in the
Pricing?
pricing. And any other questions?
Yeah, well, you have to have a person, will a person have to be hired to monitor that list and give the privileges or control the privileges within that list for every property owner?
Once you go in, you should have access. You get your card, and you'll have access granted, unless it should be the same access for everybody. We just know who it is that's going in and out.
So I'll use this as an example. Fitness room. So, I'd like to go 11 p.m. and work out for 3 hours. I can just use my card and get
There
in.
may be hours on set
Yeah.
for access.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a staff member would have to give that privilege, that it's not bulk. And what I hear you saying, it's going to be a bulk privilege. Anybody that has a card can open that door to get in.
Depending on what the door is.
We have to add the doors. We haven't added.
Not
the
everything's
doors.
gonna be
They are
wide open.
charged
Certain things are gonna be
per
closed.
Per month.
That someone must address.
If it's a maintenance area, the maintenance people will have the privilege to get in there. Not everybody will have it.
correct, but somebody has to address that.
Yeah, I think Larry's doing it
Larry.
now.
Larry's working on that program right now.
Yep.
Larry's not here today. He's the one that can really address that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have all the details on that,
That's fine.
but Larry, my understanding is once you're in the database, you can
Yeah.
just go up. Or if you have this room reserved for, 7 to 10, they can go in when you reserve it, put 7 to 10 on this room. Now,
It goes to your card.
right,
Yep.
You open it at 6:30 and you have to
right,
clear the building by 10.
right.
Done. I just wanted to say one thing about you brought up the idea of a maintenance, you're gonna, a physical place that you're gonna do some exercises and so forth with, okay? The Harbor Club committee that was building this surveyed all the areas around us and asked them these questions about, do you want a gym in there? And they said, absolutely not.
That
So,
was an example.
yeah, but I just want to be sure that it doesn't get misconstrued that there's going to be gym equipment down there. They said, separate that. Don't have the gym equipment and the bikes and all that stuff in there. However, I just had the conversation with Bill about things like the aerobics or the yogas. Those things will be permitted, dance classes, those things will be available in the new building.
There's a lot of liabilities with a fitness center.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother issue, but I didn't want, to think that it's going to be in that building because it's not.
I apologize. I do not hear well, and I am going to, I have an appointment to try and get new hearing aids, so please bear with me. I did not, you said something about a survey. Are you saying the survey that went out to the community about a fitness room? Or are you saying a survey? I thought I heard something about a survey with
What he
a,
was saying is when they were building that club, they went around and surveyed other venues and asked them about including gyms or something with within the gym,
Carolina colors.
within the, Carolina Colors. And then Carolina Colors put a gym in their pavilion, and they said that was one of the worst things they ever did.
my only point is that I personally have so much gym equipment in my house that is very intimate. So I wouldn't be one that would use it, but that, to exercise there or anything. But I know several of my friends who were just hopeful that something like that would happen. So I do know that the community as a whole is not giving that opportunity, I don't think, to respond to whether or not they would like a gym to be there. So there are still people that, and I see them now, are still hopeful that a gym will be good. The thing is that if you get a gym that you don't have a membership.
Conversation.
Isn't that the kind of issue your Harbor Club Usage Committee should be dealing with?
And that'd be fine.
Yeah,
Could be.
okay, so, questions? All right, at this point, I'd like to reset and come back for executive session.
Here or there?
Yeah, over in the boardroom. Recess at 10:18.
Thank you.
Mike, please go address that issue with her about bringing it up. I don't think we want to go
We did do a survey.
Before you all leave, can you help put the chairs away?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's saying, all right, so what have you done for me lately?
Yeah. We did do a survey years ago.